Okay, so here's my epic debrief. I went to the post office with my certified letter form, which I took a picture of, and then I got this check from Chris Duffy for a $1 lawsuit, which the snarky lady at court kind of was like, well, you asked for $1, you don't get a hearing. That's what you get. You don't get any help for harassment. So basically, if he contested the claim, we would get a hearing. So he's giving me like a no contest to the fact that he groped me, pinned me down, pushed himself on me, further traumatized me by admitting to adult production, to wrestling me and tussling me. He's 6 at least, if not 7. So I made copies of it. I called everybody. Okay, so there's this big $20 million thing they wanted to do for renovation. So maybe there's an inside deal preventing. So I called Elections Division, CLATSEP, then State, asked for Director Eric Jorgensen, Steve Trout, spoke to Investigator Michelle, spoke to the Investigations Commission's investigator. She was wonderful. At the Oregon's Government Ethics Commission. They recommended I speak to the Oregon DOJ, Civil Rights Unit. And then we discussed ORS 260.175 on false statements and 260.532 false statements advertising. What had occurred to me is that if there's any kind of conspiracy between Sunset Empire to quash my claim of their Meals on Wheels director, Chris Duffy, pinning me down and pushing himself on me and groping me repeatedly when I told him he was acting like an abuser, reminding me of an abuser, I proceeded with all my federal and state claims. But this small claim being settled somehow just kind of, oh, you settled it. I'm worth $1. Your assault was a $1 value to me. I just went over there and asked for Skylar. I knew Skylar was there from the way the receptionist answered, but he was scared to speak to me. Skylar Archibald at the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation. So I went over to the Bob Chisholm Center and spoke to the receptionist, asked if she would take this check back to Chris Duffy and say, no, I want the dignity and decorum of a courtroom where we may speak before McIntosh or Matthias or who else? I don't know who's the other judge now. Brownhill about his attack. But the election nexus really hit me when I voted a couple nights ago on my home Oregon ballot. I was like, whoa, you want $20 million and you can't even figure out how to get rid of a predator that's making everyone feel safe? Like, do we really trust you with our money? That's weird. So here it is, the so-called settlement. But the thing is like, oh, come on, man. Dude, that's a setup. I sued you for $1. That's like a Taylor Swift move. That's like, oh yeah, you want to victim blame me to high hell? Well, you're not going to say that it's just about money. Oh, but maybe it is with you, because you want your $20 million. You don't want your dude prosecuted. So I called the reporter at, whatchamacallit, the Daily Historian, who's following my case. And then I understood more procedurally that the courts will dismiss the claim if I do nothing. And basically, I don't have to cash the check. Then it dawned on me, I didn't even charge him for the privilege of having the sheriffs serve him at the Bob Chisholm. That was like $40 he owes me. Chris Duffy definitely owes me for that. And I paid for drinks and whatever snacks or something for $30 once. And what else did I pay for? I paid for stuff. Like, I was not after him. Like, God, he was such a user. Anyway, so I go up to him and I'm like, you can take your, I hold the check like this, and my hair looked worse. It looks really bad today, but I was like, you can take this. And I thought that was the last time I'd see him, last time I confronted him, but he's on orders to stay away from me. So I was sort of breaching my own fake restraint. But anyway, I go like, you can take this back. I don't want this. I want a hearing in a court. And he's like shoveling mashed potatoes and he's like, oh, I'm at work. I can't talk about this right now. I'm at work. Something like that. And I saw like this dimple in his chin. I think maybe he gained 20 pounds or something. He's already skinny, but he just doesn't look well. And so I turned and walked, and I said, you need to apologize to George. And I happened to be on the phone with George. So I was like, George, he needs to apologize to you. You need to come here, and he needs to apologize to you. And Mr. What's his name? Darren Gooch was like, Skylar's the appropriate person. And I was like saying to the female receptionist, it's like, no, I would rather talk to a woman about this. So they've got like an assemblage of male patriarchal dudes in power who are protecting each other's sexual assault, and they just want 20 million from the taxpayers. That's all. That's all. Can't they have it? And their little lawyer, Spencer Rockwell, is so snarky. And I think host radio in some ways is even worse. Skylar, at least, is Catholic. He was raised Catholic. They know how to cover up sex abuse. You just act really kind and compassionate to the attacker and the victim, right? Or there's something fishy going on. I think it was satisfying to tell him he needs to apologize to George. He seems to be missing that part, that you can really destroy people's lives by breaching certain ethical boundaries. And the very least he could do would be to resign and get the hell away from the vulnerable and the aged and women, and make the community center about community, not about protecting predators and sex abuse and quid pro quo and pin downs and forcing himself on someone. He'll never touch me again, so far as I can tell. He looks scared out of his mind of me, and so he should be, what with his herpes and everything. He induced psychological trauma, terrorized me out of my own community. I can't put a dollar figure on that, can I? So we talked Harvey Weinstein with the cool lady at Ethics Commission. It was interesting. It was nice to have their support.